You're no hero, you're no adventurer, you're a peasant, a serf, you're a barber, a rat catcher, a dwarven herder, an elven glass blower, a halfling vagrant. You're a gong farmer. Whatever a gong farmer is, you've never held a piece of gold, let alone a sword or a mace. But the dragon people called Singe flew in from the dark realm. The dragon, most certainly an agent of the evil wizard Mordrak, attacked the castle. The militia has been destroyed. The king and queen have been killed. Singe was last seen flying back to the dark realm, flying off with the Princess Daphne in his clutches, flying off toward Mordrak's castle. Princess Daphne was the last royalty of the land. She is beloved as much as she is beautiful, and now she's been taken. Her suitor, Dirk the Daring, immediately rode off in pursuit, but it's been a week, and there has been no word. Now the village has gathered, and a large posse has been formed. It's time to storm the castle and save Princess Daphne, or die trying. Will you join? Stay with me. 1983 Dragon's Lair video game was released to arcades. I was 13 in 1983, and the game instantly fell in the category of super cool things that I don't really get to do. So I lived in the country in between cornfields, and the game wasn't really accessible, and spending money on video games was considered somewhat frivolous. Regardless, I always thought the game was super cool. It remains part of the nostalgia of my youth. Dragon's Lair is a unique video game that features cartoon video clips via a laser disc instead of computer animated graphics. The cartoon clips were done by Don Bluth, and if you watched a cartoon movie in the 80s that wasn't by Disney, it was a good chance it was done by Don Bluth. Movies such as Secret of the Nim and Land Before the Time are both Don Bluth movies. In the video game, you play the hero Dirk the Daring as he battles his way through Mordrak's castle to save the beautiful Princess Daphne from the evil dragon Singe. Fast forward to today, I am indulging in another of my nostalgia from my youth. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons.
TSR Hobbies, Dungeons and Dragons game, products of your imagination.
So it became a bit of a passion project for me to create a D&D adventure based off the Dragon's Lair video game. I started watching some playthrough videos on YouTube. I'll put some links in the descriptions of those videos. From the videos, I took screenshots of each unique room. At first, I thought I'd try putting all those rooms in a castle, and I could kind of get it to work, but there were some scenes that are just too big, such as the river scene and the lava scenes. So I dropped that concept of a map and embraced the idea of simply being an enchanted castle. And it's such that inside the castle is as much space as you want, and as you go from room to room, the door closes behind you, and there was no going back, only going forward. The consequences of being that the players could not go back. I decided that this was okay as it was consistent with the video game. Also, in the game, each room Dirk tackled was randomly determined. So I decided I wanted that in my game too. For my game, it always starts the same. The adventurers enter the castle via a rickety old bridge, and if they survive, then they end up with a choice of 3 doors. From there on, there's no going back. Each door moving forward is a new room chosen randomly by me, the Dungeon Master. Then, when there's about an hour left, everyone ends up at the same ending room, a throne room, and then Singe's vault. The formula seemed to work great, at least it did when I played it. Dragon's Lair is a death trap. Part of the charm of the video game were its many death scenes. So, in my version, it was also a death, or it is also a death trap, and above the table, that has consequences. Some people get attached to characters and aspire to play those characters for great durations. Those people need to know that their characters are likely going to die. So right up front, I tell my players that this is what Dungeon Crawl Classics calls a funnel. I, however, play D&D 5e. I dabbled in Dungeon Crawl Classics, and I do like the game, but for me and my friends, we play D&D 5e. However, for this one-shot, the game is so stripped down you can barely distinguish what version of a role-playing game it really is. For my game, I used an even more simplified version of Arclords' Simplified 5e character sheet and made one very big addition. I'll put a link to the Arclords product down below. It's an RPG guild. So, oh, by the way, this video is not paid, right? I wish it was paid. I never had a sponsor. So, including Arclord, his not sponsored me, but I did use his character sheet, which I believe was pay what you want anyway. So, back for my game, each player was given 3 pre-generated level 0 characters, and at the beginning of our session, I guided the group as each player rolled a 4th character. I'll give a glimpse of the character sheet here. Each character was given a race, an occupation, a trade good, and 1 piece of equipment. For this, I used charts from Dungeon Crawl Classics. Also, borrowed from Dungeon Crawl Classics, I added a characteristic called Luck. Now, I didn't quite use Luck the way that Dungeon Crawl Classic would use it. The characteristics, strength, dexterity, etc., including the score for Luck, were determined by rolling 3d6 straight down the line, no exceptions, just like Uncle Grognard did it. Each characteristic then determined a modifier. For this, I used D&D's modifier chart. HP was 1d4 plus or minus the Constitution, and armor class was 10 plus minus their dexterity. The cool thing was the luck, though. The character's luck score was really a pool of luck points that I very liberally let them use. They could use it to modify the roll results. They could modify their damage given or even the damage taken. But as luck points were used, the luck modifier went down, and I called for a lot of luck roll. This game was played theater of mind, but for each room I did have a screenshot straight from the game, but there was no map. So when monsters attacked or traps were sprung, I used the loser of a luck roll to determine who was targeted. For my game, this worked amazingly. Worked surprisingly well. This was a one-shot, so players didn't mind ending the night with no luck left, especially since using their luck was critical to their character's survival. Like so many people, I have family come home for the holidays, and the last couple of years, my nephews have been asking me to play a D&D one-shot. This year, it was Dragon's Lair, or as I call it, Dragon's Lair Requiem, a level 0 D&D funnel. In our playthrough, the players split the party into 3 groups and went through 3 different doors. They did about 9 of the 20 plus random rooms taken straight from the game. They encountered such things as skeletons and ghosts and magical metal horses that ride through obstacle courses. They encountered the high ropes course over a flaming pit. They battled an anthropomorphic bat. They had the opportunity to choose from mysterious potions. Oh, and I threw in a giant eyeball. As players died, I played a death scene clip straight from the video game. They seemed to really enjoy it. If you want to see more of that playthrough, we did record it live, and you can check out this video. I'll link it down below. So, what do you remember of Dragon's Lair? What do you think of level 0 funnels and the luck mechanic? Let me know in the comments. I'd appreciate it. While you're down there, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And just like I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. My normal group plays on Thursday nights, and I randomly put out other videos as I create them. So until next time, take care.